Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I'm here on the Regal Princess and there's a lot of talk on board about Omicron. And there's definitely a lot of talk in the news about Omicron. And we have 2 cases in Canada right now. And guess where they are? Ottawa, my home city that I just left. And I found some interesting things out during a news broadcast, and I also found out how the cruise lines are going to respond. Okay, first we listen to the Ontario government's announcement on the 2 cases in Ottawa. Both are from travel, both are from South Africa, and both are self-isolating, which means they're not in hospital, they're not on ventilators or anything, they're just self-isolating. So they're not even severe enough to have to go to the hospital, which means to me, I say to myself, then why are we pressing that panic button? Because it doesn't seem to have any worse effect. The 13 soccer players over in the UK that can have the Omicron virus, they're self-isolating. They're not in hospital. I don't see the correlation between the panic that the media in these questions have been trying to put out there. Not one reporter asked during the press conference, are those 2 people in Ottawa vaccinated? Not one asked the question, are they vaccinated? In fact, they didn't even ask if they're in hospital. So it just goes, but they certainly asked, are we shutting down the borders again? Are we going to shut down the businesses again? Are we going to have to go down to reduced capacity? Are we going to have to stop seeing people at Christmas? They asked those questions, but they didn't ask the common sense questions like, hey, were these people vaccinated? And second of all, how severe is it? Are they in hospital? To me, that seems like an obvious way to go, but the media likes to press the panic to everybody because you get more clicks with panic than good news. Let's be honest about that. So, I'm not spreading misinformation here. I'm just saying what's going on. Let's see what this is actually doing before we start hitting that panic button and talking about shutting down the world again. I can't believe the questions I heard. I could not believe the questions I heard from the media yesterday in Ontario. But at least the cruise lines have seemed to have a common sense approach. They've already come out and said, look, we already have the strictest COVID protocols of any business in North America. You don't have to get tested to go to Walmart. You don't have to get tested to go hang out with 30 of your friends indoors for a party. You don't have to get proof of vaccine to get on a bus, etc. But you have to have proof of vaccine to get on a cruise ship. You have to have testing before getting on a cruise ship. You have to, if you're on a cruise longer than 7 days, you have to have a test on the cruise ship. Plus there's mask wearing policies, there's social distancing enacted in most of the cruise lines. There is a great deal of protocols in place, not to mention cleaning. Last night I went to the Princess Live show and there was like 20 people in there listening to trivia. And the minute the trivia was over, there were 5 people who came into that auditorium and wiped down every seat in the room. Every seat. You will not see that at any other place in North America. Remember when grocery stores in North America used to wipe off the carts before you were allowed to take them and bring them into the store? They would be sitting there and they'd be wiping them off. You don't see that anymore. Remember when they used to have lineups outside before you were allowed into the grocery store because they were limiting the capacity? You don't see that anymore, but you still see that in the cruise ships. So yeah, I think the cruise ships have a very smart game plan in place. They have the most protocols that are possibly in place. And if the spread starts, it's going to start in other places other than the cruise ships this time. But either way, from what we're seeing right now with the actual people who have the virus, it doesn't seem to appear to be any more deadly, which is the number one thing we're looking at. And number two, it doesn't appear to be putting anyone more extra in hospital. Yeah, so I don't know why they keep pressing the panic button. And I'm glad to see the cruise lines are not doing so. Now, if this does start to grow, and if this does start to spread, you might see some more protocols enacted. Like I mentioned the other day, you might start to see PCR tests enacted instead of antigen tests, because, quite simply, they say that this virus is only detectable from a certain type of PCR test. Other than that, I think the cruise lines have their act together as far as the game plan is concerned, and will roll with it as needed. And we will see what happens. The big thing on my mind is not necessarily what the cruise lines are going to do, it's what the CDC is going to do and the governments are going to do. Are they going to press the panic button before they know what's going on? And that, to me, is way more worrisome to me than the Omicron virus right now. But that's just me. I don't see any evidence of it being more dangerous yet. If I do, I'll change my tune. If all of a sudden a whole bunch of people start disappearing, then yeah, we'll have to act. But if it doesn't seem to be any more deadly than the Delta variant is right now, then I say, why are we panicking? Well, I hope you appreciate this little update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.